Hey everybody! Hope you're having a good Thursday so far. I'm gonna let a few people get on here and we are going to dive into this week's edition of the Madtown Minute. I have a nice little list here of things to chat about that I'll go ahead and tell you. This one is gonna be shorter than previous weeks for a handful of reasons. So I'm gonna give this just another few seconds and then we will dive right into it. All right, well, hey everybody, I'm Erica Despain. I'm the editor of All Things Madison, and the Madtown Minute is a weekly live on Instagram. I'll then share it again on Facebook, in our newsletter, via email, etc., where I talk about not only some of the topics that I copied or that I covered on the website that week, but also just our normal happenings around town. In a very unbiased way. All of this is unpaid, so everything I mention is just our authentic, organic, natural happenings throughout the week as a member of society in Madison, just like you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into it. This week, I covered an article about how the, what's it called? The Club Pilates, West Huntsville, that's the official name, even though it's in Madison, how that owner recently acquired Pure Barre. So right now you can't go back and forth between the two gyms, but that is something that he would be open to doing in the future. So on the article, I shared all about those two fitness regimens. What can you expect from Pilates? What can you expect from Pure Barre? So if that's up your alley, go ahead and check out that article. I published it on Monday. Okay, one of my favorite articles to write, probably in the last month, is all about Sheesh Palace. It's a new Middle Eastern Mediterranean restaurant. I could do a whole live video on how much I love this restaurant. It's incredible. I really need to keep this short, but I absolutely loved it. It is located where Beignet Cafe used to be on Hughes Road, not far from Highway 72. So I sat down with the owner and I basically said, like, how did you end up picking Madison to start this place? Like, are you from here? And he kind of snickers. He's like, this is a good story. And I was like, good. I like good stories. And it is a really good story. So I share that on All Things Madison, how this guy from Michigan decided to bring this to Madison, Alabama. The food is to die for. I have no other way to put it. It is absolutely phenomenal. So that particular morning, they had their ribbon cutting with the Chamber of Commerce. So when I walked in, it was all buffet style. He said that that's not normal, but they had all of their favorite dishes out so that people could try it. He piled up my plate, let me try so many things. It was so good. He's like, tell your husband to come up here. He couldn't come up because he was at work, but I did make him a to-go plate. We ended up going over to Dublin Park, met over there, had like a little date, eating our food from Sheesh. And he was like, can we go back for dinner tomorrow? I said, no, because I'm hoping that so many people read my article and that they feel so convinced to go eat there that it'll be packed tonight. That's my hope, because they are so deserving of people going to check it out. The food's just really, really good. So super lengthy menu. They have all kinds of things. So if you want to read about what I tried and a little bit more about how like they're handling COVID and this and that, go check out that article. Sheesh Palace, so good. Nothing like it in this area. He jokes that it stands for Alabama Shish Kebab Palace. I was like, I like it. Clever. Okay. I also was so privileged to sit down with Norman Dole. He's the restaurant operator of our Madison Chick-fil-A. He's the one and only. He's been doing it this whole time. I asked him if we could sit down and chat about what's going on with their new location. He was so willing with open arms to invite me in and gave me every detail I could imagine plus some about what this new location will hold. He is awesome. I know so many of you guys probably know Mr. Norman, but man, he is a stand-up guy that really runs a tight ship up there despite their, they're so busy and he has to wear so many hats with like engineer of a parking lot, but also managing people, but also like serving food. He does so many things so well. So I'm really excited about the new location. Obviously, as a consumer, I think it's great. But I'm also, after talking with him, really happy for him and really happy for his team over there at Chick-fil-A, because this is going to allow them such a better work environment. It's going to be a really good thing for them. I did address the tax thing. I asked him, I said, I know people are going to say things about the tax situation because the new location is outside of Madison city limits. So we talked about that and I addressed it on the article. I also share a map of what the new location will look like as far as the flow of the traffic situation. So go check that out on the website. Let's see. Tomorrow, I'm going to be sharing an article about Cornerstone Word of Life Church. It is going to be more of a feel-good article sharing about a recent outreach event that they did where they gave shoes to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of local students who were in need of new tennis shoes for back to school. I was so inspired after talking to their associate pastor, Robert. I really enjoyed learning more about their church. The really cool thing is that they did this massive organization to get all of these shoes out, and they never called the news. They didn't tell anybody they were doing this. They didn't want the publicity per se. They wanted to do it. They wanted to do God's work, and they just felt that so strongly, and did this incredible thing without anybody knowing about it. And I'm excited that I get to finally shine a light on what they did, because I think it was a really cool idea for ways that they could bless our Madison and Limestone County communities and school children. So check that out tomorrow on All Things Madison. Okay, so a few of our experiences in the last few days. Number one, shout out to Sean Ostrowski with Capstone Real Estate, or Capstone Realty, I think is the official name. He and we knew each other briefly, but we met up recently. I got to hear more about where he's taking his business as a realtor. Mr. Madison is what he likes to call himself sometimes, just because he knows this area, he knows our market, and he's just a really hardworking realtor, and I really respect that about people with his work ethic in Madison. So it was really great to meet up with him and tell him a little bit more about All Things Madison. So shout out to Sean. We also had a broken washing machine for the last 3 weeks, so that was super fun. But Mr. Appliance came and fixed it today, so shout out to Tori with Mr. Appliance. He was in and out in 20 minutes. We had a big repair that had to be done, and he was so great. My kids were like all over him as he was fixing our washing machine. So if you have something like that you need, I wouldn't hesitate to reach out to Mr. Appliance, specifically Tori. He was fantastic. My husband called 5 or 6 appliance places trying to find somebody that would call him back, and Mr. Appliance was without a doubt the best one when it came to customer service. Last week, I talked about Town Madison and how I was so confused why the prices were so high. So I recently talked to a local builder, and I was like, what is up with Town Madison? I mean, yes, the homes are so beautiful, like undeniably beautiful, but can you tell me a little bit about why they are at least 10% more per square foot, if not 15? Hey there, David. And he basically said, of course the location rocks with being right by the stadium, but he said more than anything, most of the builders in Town Madison are putting every single upgrade in those homes that they can think of. So there's nothing that you would call builder's grade in those homes. That everywhere they can upgrade, light fixtures and countertop, just the best of the best is in those homes. That's what they're shooting for, which is why they're more expensive per square foot, says this specific builder. So we'll see. A builder not associated with them, but respects what they're doing. Okay. Now, I told you guys I would try and keep this short. The last thing I want to do is end this how I always do, with my Away From Here segment. So today I want to do a spotlight on the Atlanta Aquarium. It is about 3 hours, 45 minutes from here. Goes straight down 65 on Birmingham, then head straight east on Highway 20 or Interstate 20. And the Atlanta Aquarium is downtown. Tickets are only available online. That's how they're doing crowd control. Masks are required. We went to that aquarium about 18 months ago. Absolutely loved it. The crowds were ridiculous and kind of stifled the experience for us a little bit, which is, it stinks for them that they're probably obviously getting less money now because there's less crowds. But I think from a consumer point of view and a visitor's point of view, it is probably so much more pleasant and lovely to go to that aquarium, take your time. It's the best aquarium I've ever seen. I think it's the number 2 aquarium in the world. Plan to spend the entire day there, eat your meals there. They have a restaurant where they have like this massive whale shark swimming around you. It's just fantastic. And this isn't just if you have kids. Shoot, if you don't have kids, go. I think we'd have a ball without our kids. It's an incredible aquarium. So get your tickets online, plan to go. I know fall break's coming up and they are trying to do crowd control there. So bring your mask and head to the Atlanta Aquarium. Maybe stay the night. It's in downtown, lots of stuff to do. So that wraps it up for this week's Madtown Minute. I hope you guys are having a great week. The weather is absolutely glorious out, and it looks like it's gonna be more of the same this weekend. So enjoy a beautiful first weekend of October, and I'll see you guys on here next week.